What is up, everybody? It is me, Chad Inglis, Managing Design Lead on Stellaris. It is my absolute pleasure to be here with you today, talking about the Nomads DLC, which we have been working on for, these many moons, and the whole team is super excited to get it out there. So when we started designing the whole nomadic gameplay concept, we were really sort of focused on the idea of like, why would a spacefaring civilization be nomadic? What is the central fantasy here, and how can we get that across? I think that the origins that we've created really answer this and really sell some really fantastic and unique fantasies. The Sacred Path origin. Yours is a nomadic spiritualist civilization that has been traversing a sacred path across the stars for generations. You have sacred sites that your people have been visiting on a pilgrimage that has lasted for a long time, millennia, perhaps. But the hyperdrive has changed everything. A journey that your ancestors could only have imagined making is now available to your people in a single lifetime. As you travel the galaxy, visiting all 8 sacred sites, you're going to be confronted with some pretty intense questions about your faith and what that means for your society. You have to ask yourself, this is actually something you still believe in now that you can actually reach out and touch these things? Reach out and touch faith. The Sacred Path origin. The origin has 3 unique job types: high pilgrims, devoted adepts, and faithful acolytes, all governed by the consecrated community district specialization. Early events let you choose which tier of job to focus on, giving you empire-wide bonuses that can shape the entire run. As the game progresses, schisms form between progressives and traditionalists, and you're forced to choose who your people really are. The Sacred Path origin, it's one of my absolute favorites in the DLC. I'm gonna say that about probably all of them. But it's true, they're all awesome, and the Sacred Path is something that we're all really proud of. The developers who worked on this did a fantastic job. I think you guys are gonna love it. In the Forever Cruise origin, your home is a luxury interstellar cruise liner, and now with the hyperdrive finally online, the wider galaxy is finally on the itinerary. The fun part about playing this origin is that you'll have to balance between 2 competing interests, the passengers and the crew. The passengers are your entitled, bored, decadent elites who are guiding the itinerary of the cruise ship across the galaxy, and an overworked and potentially underpaid crew class that keeps it all afloat. So how does it play? Players have to navigate the passenger satisfaction index, which is a situation that is teetering between 2 extreme end states. If you want to keep this cruise truly going forever, you're going to need to balance it in between those 2 endpoints. On the one hand, you have your disgruntled crew who's feeling fed up with the whims of an entitled passenger class, and on the other, you have that very same passenger class who wants to keep, things interesting and spicy. Like, they're tired of just like cocktails on the pool deck. They want to see something new. They want to see something interesting. Throughout the origin, you're going to receive contracts from either the passengers or the crew, the completion of which can tilt the situation in one direction or the other. But there's a catch. Every contract that makes the passengers happy is probably going to nudge the crew a little bit deeper into dissatisfaction, and vice versa. So I don't want to spoil the ending here, but if the situation tips too far in either direction, your cruising days are over and your game is going to change radically.
Hello, my name is Nele, and today we will be talking about Arkship events. While the Nomads DLC is a completely new way of playing Stellaris, it is the Arkship events that actually breathes life into the DLC. Living as a nomad, what does it actually mean to be a nomad? What does it actually mean to be a civilization that is continuously on the move, that considers a spacefaring spaceship as their home between the stars? We were thinking, what are some of the unique experiences that make the nomad life so interesting? Because the nomad life is always changing, always adapting, and the people have the urge to continuously keep exploring. They never really want to stay in one place for a really long time. Then we were also asking ourselves, what do the nomads do while on a mission? Sometimes they will just observe the universe and the events around them, and depending on certain factors, like for example what species you choose, it might impact the way they react to it. So then we were thinking, what does life on the Arkship actually look like, and like how does it differ from living on the planet? Of course, there are a lot of similarities, like the nomads still need to work, they still have leisure time, but there are also a lot of differences. For example, the entire Arkship is like one big like infrastructure, basically, which also increases the stakes. For example, like when something breaks, because that is their home, that's the only thing they have. So it's basically a question of how do we navigate in this. Also, there is a lot of artificial life to it, because there is no real sky, there is no real land. Everything has been put there in place by their ancestors. And you will find out there are also a lot of secrets on the Arkship. So sometimes you will stumble upon something that has been forgotten or that has been erased for a purpose, and you're rediscovering it and rediscover your own history, for example. And sometimes you will find something that reminds you of your days when you were still living on an actual planet. But don't be afraid, your people will still have a mind on their own, and they might act not always in the way that you would like them to. And then it's your turn to actually bring some order into the chaos. But we were thinking, what happens if things on the Arkship actually go wrong? What if parts break off your Arkship? Are you going to have enough resources to repair it? Maybe it will make your Arkship even better. What if there is suddenly a faulty AI core that has very particular opinions how you should run your Arkship? And what if there is a blight on the Arkship that affects all of your crops? Are you going to go there with a flamethrower, or are you maybe befriending the fungus that is affecting your crops? Thank you so much for tuning in and watching this. I hope it was entertaining, and I can't wait for your opinions, how you like the DLC. We put a lot of sweat and blood and effort into this, so I hope you like it.
I hope you guys are as excited as we are. The whole development team worked super hard on these. I think they did an incredible job, and it absolutely nails these very particular fantasies of what a spacefaring nomadic civilization might look and feel like.